Assalamualaikum. We are from the LAW1013. We would like to present about element of valid contract. Firstly, my group member Nabila Farhana will present about intention to create legal relation. Then Haifa Nurhana will present about capacity. Lastly, I Putri Alisha Shakira will present about free consent.
Firstly, I will start with element of valid contract, which is intention to create legal relation that focus on family arrangement. First and foremost, intention to create legal relation mean that party to the agreement are ready to face circumstances if fail to perform obligation under the agreement. Based on English law, presumption to determine the existence of intention is divided by two, which is family or social arrangement and business negotiation. This is Alice. She lives in a big city called Kuala Lumpur. She is a very ambitious woman. She really loves modeling, and her dream is to be a supermodel. Not to be forgotten, Alice has a very loving husband, which is David. He always supports Alice in everything she does. However, everything changed when one day, David's mother becomes sick. No one can take care of her. David was very stressed because it is his responsibility since he is the eldest one. David was very busy thinking who can help to take care of his mother. Then he got an idea. He wanted to ask his wife Alice to take care of her. However, he knows that Alice will be mad because Alice is busy with her modeling. As expected, Alice was very angry and not agree with David's decision. But then David tried his best to persuade Alice because he has no other choice. To convince Alice, David also promised to give some amount of money and also promised to buy lots of luxury things to Alice if she agreed to take care of his mother. At first, Alice was not agree with her husband, but after hearing the promises, she finally agreed to take care of her mother-in-law. After that day, Alice take care of his mother-in-law until she has fully recovered. 1 year has passed since David's mother has recovered, but David still not fulfill his promise. He gave nothing to Alice. Because of that, David and Alice was fight with each other. Alice was very mad because her husband doesn't fulfill his promise. Because Alice was very angry, she asked for divorce. She also wants to take this case to court because her husband doesn't fulfill the agreement made between both of them. However, Alice failed to win this case because she doesn't have the evidence that can prove that she has made such an agreement with her husband. Moreover, based on English law, agreement that made between family members is presumed that there is no intention to create legal relation. Lastly, based on scenario given, we know that family arrangement is agreement that made between family members, and the law has stated that this kind of agreement is presumed that there is no intention to create legal relation. Thus, there will be no binding contract between each party, and one of party in this contract cannot sue the person that has breached the contract or does not fulfill the promises. However, in other case, if someone has breached the contract between family members, but there is evidence which is written agreement that has been signed by both parties, this can be rebutted at the court because it is considered that there is intention to create legal relation, and the appellant has the right to sue the one that breached the contract.
Hi. Another element of valid contract is capacity. In Section 11 Contract Act 1950, every person is competent to contract as long as at the age of majority, sound mind, and is not disqualified from contracting by any law to which he is subject. What is the age of majority? In Section 2, Majority Age Act 1971, state that a person is of the age of majority at attaining the age of 18, and a person who is under 18, referred to as a minor. In case Mohori Bibi vs. Star Motors goes. Appellant gives credit to respondent, and respondent charges a house as a security. Respondent, through her mother, sought order from court to declare that the charge is invalid, because lack of capacity to contract. In this case, court decided that a transfer of title to an estate by plaintiff, who is a minor, is void. What if a minor purposely misrepresent his age? Even that, his action does not make the contract to be valid. Based on case Natason vs. Thanaletkumyananor. A minor contracted with plaintiff after making false statement about his age. When sued, he used of lack of capacity as reason. Plaintiff claimed that defendant may no longer use the reason because defendant made false statement of his age. The court held that misrepresentation does not obstruct the minor to use lack of capacity as defense. However, there are a few types of agreement, when entered into by minor, is treated by law as valid contract. The first one is agreement in relation to marriage, divorce, dower, adoption, religion, and religious rights. The second is agreement of necessities. The example of necessities are food, shelter, and education. The third is agreement of apprentice or employment. And the last one, agreement of a scholarship. In Section 12(1) Contract Act 1950, a person is said to be of a sound mind, if at the time he makes it, he is capable of forming a rational judgment, as the effect of the agreement upon his interests. Individuals, who are clearly intoxicated, are generally deemed not to be able to enter legally binding agreements. Such person have no agreeing mind, though similar principles apply as to those who are otherwise incapacitated. A person who is of unsound mind, enters into a contract, while he is of sound mind, the contract is valid and vice versa.
Free consent. In Section 10 Contract Act 1915 state that all agreements are contracts if they are made by a free consent of parties competent to contract. In Section 14, consent is said to be free when it is not caused by coercion, undue influence, fraud, misrepresentation, and mistake. In Section 15, coercion as committing or threatening to commit any act forbidden by a penal code with the intention of causing any person to enter into an agreement. This is Sarah. She is an only child. Sarah and Ali had been married for 2 years. After Sarah's parents' death, all of their properties have been transferred to Sarah. Ali, who is a drinker addicted, always threatened to beat and force Sarah to sign her family properties under his name. To protect herself, she can't do anything but to sign and register all the properties to Ali's name. So, is the contract void or not? Sarah has the right to choose either to make the contract valid or void because the legal effect of the contract that entered by Sarah was voidable pursuant to Section 19. The contract is void but Ali has to restore the properties. In Section 16, undue influence where the relations subsisting between the parties are such that one of the party is in a position to dominate the will of the other and uses the position to obtain unfair advantage over the other. An existence of undue influence is depend on proof by parties to a contract, or by an assumption by court, or when the contract was obvious to be advantageous only to one party. In Salwat Hanim v. Haji Abdullah case in 1894, plaintiff's husband has transferred titles to all his properties to his 2 brothers. When he passed away, plaintiff claims that the contract was made under undue influence. Court has held that the contract is void. Plaintiff shows to court that she is in trustee beneficiary relationship with her in-laws. In Section 17, fraud includes any of the following acts. First, when A suggests as to a fact which he knows not true. Second, when A conceals a fact he believes to be true. Third, when A made a promise without intention of performing it. Fourth, any other act fitted to deceive. Fifth, any such act or omission as the law specially declares to be fraudulent. In Keng Chui Lian v. LAW1013 case in 1983, respondent contracted to buy an estate from appellant. Under appellant average, respondent bought another estate after the appellant told respondent that the second estate is as extensive as the first estate, but it is not. Court gives right to the respondent to repudiate the second contract because it is made under fraud of Section 17A and B. By the provision of Section 18, misrepresentation is a situation when X makes a statement to Y. The statement is untrue, but X believes it to be true and Y enters into a contract in reliance of that statement. In Kids v. Lord Cadogan case in 1851, defendant lets a house that was in bad condition to plaintiff. The act is not misrepresentation. Plaintiff should be cautioned and investigate. Lastly, mistake is a situation when both parties to the agreement believe a false fact about the essential matters in relation to their agreement. A mistake can either be mistake of fact or mistake of law. A mistake must be by both parties. In Galloway v. Galloway case in 1914, an agreement to divorce between plaintiff and defendant is void since both parties mistaken about their marital status. Their marriage is void, therefore the subject matter does not exist. That's all from us. I hope you understand the topic we just discussed about. Thank you.